Hello students, thank you. This series belongs to the questions in the chemistry section of your JEE mains, and just like in other videos I am making this video for the chemistry section, and I take some questions, and in that questions I am also explaining the concepts and the topic related to that question. I try to explain this, so just proceed with me. This is the first question I have taken, and as you can see, this question is from the lattice. Lattice means the chapter of solid state which you have studied in standard 12 of lesson first. Clear? So when we just read out the question, we have sodium metal in BCC lattice having the cell age 4.29 angstrom, and we have to find the radius of the atom and closest approach between the two atoms. In this case, I want to just give you a recap for the things. We have three types of lattices. We have three types of crystal lattices. Number one is simple cubic, okay, which I can write as SC, okay. Then second one is body centered, that is BCC, and third one is face centered. Clear? I'm not going in detail. Now in this question we have to find the relation between the cell edge and the radius of the atom. If we denote cell edge with A, okay, and radius of the atom with R, then how will you remember? You just remember the three formulas. Take 4R, 4R, 4R. That means 4 times of the radius is equal to, in case of simple cubic, this is 2A. In case of body centered, we have under root 3A, and in case of face centered, we have under root 2A. So you can easily memorize that we just equate the 4 times of the radius is equals to the edge length, and here in all the cases I take the 4R, and here you just remember the ratios. If you want to learn, that is simple, that is body, that is face, that is the ratio of 2:3:2. You can memorize the formula like this, okay. Now you know as it is the edge length and it is the radius of the atom. So if you learn this formula, you can easily solve the question. Now just come again and see our question, okay. Now it is given here the BCC lattice. So according to our formula in BCC lattice, which I told you, that 4R is equal to under root 3A. Clear? That is 4 into radius of atom is equals to under root 3 into edge length. Clear? Okay. Now our question is what? It have a edge length 4.29 and we have to find the radius. So radius is equals to under root 3 by 4 into 4.29 angstrom. Now you can solve this and you will get the answer. How will you find the answer? The value of under root 3 is 1.732, and just do the solution and solve it and you will get the answer. Okay. Now if it is in meters, okay, just convert this angstrom into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Then you will get the answer and you can do it by yourself. Now I am proceeding to the second one. Find the closest approach between atoms. Sometime in question, actually I just mixes the two types of questions in one question in order to give you the concept. So in some questions it is also written, find the closest approach between two atoms. When you have to find the closest approach between two atoms, you just divide you just multiply the radius with the 2, okay. So for closest approach between two atoms, we have the formula 2 of the radius. So for the BCC, as we have 4r is equal to under root 3a, so closest approach 2r is equals to under root 3a over 2. And in this way, you can find the closest approach and write the value of edge length over here, and solving this you will get the answer of the closest approach. And the same process, if it is given that here it is FCC lattice, okay, then what will you do? In FCC lattice, we just change the formula and you will get easily the answer. In FCC lattice, as we know, 4r is equals to under root 2a, okay. So here the radius is equals to under root 2 into 4.29 over 4, clear? And value of under root 2 is 1.414, clear? When you put all the values here, you will get the radius of the FCC lattice, okay. For example, it is not the sodium metal, I just as a concern I change FCC lattice. And the closest approach also here, if we have to find in case of FCC lattice, then closest approach is 2r is equals to under root 2 over 2a, clear? Or you can say 1 upon root 2 into a. Anyway, by using any method you can solve it, okay. Now I am proceeding to one more topic. Before taking one more topic, I also want to share with you something more, that in case of, for example, HCP lattice, okay. I told you BCC, FCC and simple cubic and HCP. In HCP, if it is given in question HCP lattice, then 4r is equals to 2a, that is the of the simple cubic, clear? So don't be confused if in the question it is given with HCP, okay. Now the next pick. Now I am going to take another question which is based on finding the pH values, okay. So in pH value questions, for example, there is a question that if pH of acid, that means if pH of an acid is 3.2 and pH of a base is 3.9, find pH of the solution. That means we have to find the pH of the buffer solutions in which acid and base both are there. For that, in order to solve that, you have the formula, just learn it, 7 plus half of, take the pH of acid and minus of half of pH of base. You just remember this formula, and with the help of this formula you can easily get the pH of the solution. So here we just put the values. For acid we write 3.2 and for base we write 3.9, okay. And after solving this you will get the pH of the buffer solution. One more question like this we have, in order to find the pH of the solutions in which we both have acids and bases. So that type of question is like in this way. For example, there is a 75 ml of M/5 HCl and 25 ml of M/5 NaOH, and we have to find the pH of the solution. As you can see that this solution has both acid and base, okay. So firstly find the values for the acid, that means we can do it by in this way. So we have got 15 mole of HCl, and similarly for NaOH we calculate in the same way, just multiplying with it. So that means we using the formula M1V1 is equal to M2V2, as you know. This formula I apply here. So we have 5 molarity of NaOH. Okay. Now just subtract these two, so we get 10. Okay. So now just if we have to find the pH, we just write it over 10 over here, and adding these two, so we get 100. So we have got 1 over 10, that is 0.1 or 10 to the power minus 1. So this is the concentration. Now if we have to find the pH, so pH is 1. So in this way we can find the pH of the buffer solutions in which acids and base are both are present. Now the next topic I am taking, we just note it down. Now there's the another question on your screen. 1 gram of carbonate on treatment with excess of HCl produce 0.01186 moles of CO2. Find the molar mass of the M2CO3. That means in this case we have to use the formula, the number of moles in relation between molar mass. So as we know, number of moles is equal to weight in gram over molar mass, or you can write the molecular weight. The both are same. But here we see that it is given the weight of the carbonate ore. That is, the weight of carbonate ore is given, weight of M2CO3, that is 1 gram, and it produces number of moles of CO2, that is given 0.01186, and you have to find number of moles of M2CO3. So if we observe the question carefully, we find that weight of CO2 is not given, but weight of M2CO3 is given, and moles of CO2 is given, but moles of M2CO3 is not given. Then how will we find the molar mass? And second thing more, there is a compound, it is written M2CO3. So we don't know what is the molecular weight of M2, because this is just a symbol. So how we find these types of question and find the number of moles etc. related to these questions? You just write firstly the chemical reaction which going to be held in this. So it is given that carbonate ore when treated with HCl. In the question it is given that then when a carbonate ore is treated with HCl, and when there is a carbonate, we must got CO2, and this is the acid, so we must obtain water, and the compound we get MCl. Okay. So now balance it, we write it 2 over here and 2 over here. In this way we get the balanced reaction. Now we have to consider for the carbonate ore and the for carbon dioxide. Okay. So we have seen that there is 1 mole of carbonate ore is utilized and it forms 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Okay. So the number of moles of carbon dioxide is ultimately equal to the number of moles of M2CO3. So we have to find in the question what is the molar mass of CO2. We have to find this one. Okay. So from the reaction we got the number of moles of M2CO3 is equal to number of moles of CO2. So the number of moles of CO2 which is given in our question can be taken as the number of moles of M2CO3. Now it becomes simple and we can get the easily for the molar mass. So now use the formula number of moles is equals to weight in gram over molar mass. What is the molar mass? Here is the molar mass of M2CO3. Okay. So we use the molar mass of CO2 and we see that the molar mass of M2CO3 and CO2 are same. Okay, number of moles. So we put here the same value 0.01186. That means the number of moles of carbon dioxide formed and number of the moles M2CO3 are equivalent, are same from the reactions. So weight in gram it is given 1. So molar mass of M2CO3, we just write it over. So we can find the molar mass of M2CO3 just by dividing it by 0.01186. And I think you can got this answer very easily. So just find the answer and you will got the molar mass approximately, when you calculate it, you will got the answer 84.3. Okay, you will got the answer 84.3 and you can solve it. Now the next question. We can see another question on our blackboard that it is given in the question at 300 Kelvin and 1 atm atmosphere pressure, 15 ml of hydrocarbon is required, 375 milliliter of air for the combustion, in which we have 20% of the oxygen. Okay, that means in this question we burnt an hydrocarbon in presence of air. So we use the volume of the hydrocarbon is 15 ml and the air we used in burning that hydrocarbon is 375. Now it is given that after combustion the gases occupy 330 ml. So when we burn the hydrocarbon we got the 330 ml of the gases. So we have to find the formula for hydrocarbon. One thing more I want to explain you, whenever we burn any hydrocarbon, the formula for that is in this way, CXHY. It is burnt in oxygen that gives the CO2 and water. Ultimately all the hydrocarbon burns into carbon dioxide and water as it is the liquid. And in the question it is given that gases occupy and this is the gas and in the coefficient of oxygen is what? X plus y by 4 and here the coefficient of C is X and for the hydrogen we have y by 2. So this is the balanced equation for any hydrocarbon which is burnt in the air. Now it is given that for burning 15 ml of hydrocarbon, we require 375 ml of air, in which 20% of oxygen. So in the air we have oxygen and some more gases. So total ml of air is 375. Okay. So the percentage of oxygen present in that is 20% of 375. Okay. So when we solve it, we get 75 ml of oxygen. Clear? Now, in this case, we have 75 ml of oxygen. That means the oxygen which is utilized here is 75 over 1 is equals to 75 over 15 ml. We have taken the 15 ml. So this is equals to x plus y by 4 over 1. Clear? So this is the relationship we got here. So when we divide it, we got 5. Okay? So one relationship we got here, x plus y by 4 is equals to 5. Okay? So just proceed forward. In this case, we see that we have the 75 ml of oxygen. So inert gases present in the air when we burn it is 300 ml. Okay. When we burn the hydrocarbon in the air, the percentage of the inert pair of gases is 300 ml. So during the burning, inert pair of gases remains unaffected. So this proportion must be same when the product is formed. So it is given here that after combustion gases occupy 330 ml. So when we burn the hydrocarbon we got the 330 ml. So after burning we got the oxygen plus uh, inert pair gas. So we not only got the oxygen, we got CO2, okay, when we burned it. So the volume of the CO2 present in the gas which we got after burning is, it must be 300 because they are remains unaffected, and total we have 330. So we just minus it with 330 in order to get the volume of CO2. So we get it 30 ml. Clear? So when we burn the hydrocarbon, we got the value, sorry, by 4. We got the value 30 ml. So when we burn the 15 ml, we got the value 30. Okay. So in the starting, we got the value of X, and when we use the 1 coefficient, because in the reactant we have CXHY, and in the product we have CO2 and X is written over here. So that's why in this combination we got this. So the coefficient of X is 2. Clear? So write the coefficient of X in this equation and find the value for the Y. So in order, I think you can solve it now. So we have X plus Y by 4 is equals to 5. So we have 2 plus Y by 4 is equals to 5. So Y by 4 is equals to 3. That is, value of the Y is 12. So the formula for the hydrocarbon which is burned in the air is, as we take CXHY, so we have the formula C2H12. Clear? And this way we solve the problems of the hydrocarbon. Now there's another question I am taken here, that we have to tell which of the following is not a paramagnetic. This is also a question which comes in the JEE examination. In order to find whether the given molecule, whether the given species is paramagnetic or diamagnetic, we use the molecular orbital theory, and in for that theory, if there are unpaired electrons, so it is the paramagnetic, and if the paired electrons, so it is a diamagnetic. Okay, just remember these two things. And I'm just solving this type of concept here, and I made a separate video in which I also explain how the molecular orbital theory help us to understand the different behaviors, like whether a molecule is paramagnetic or diamagnetic, or whether what is the stability of the molecule, whether which is more stable, less stable, what is the bond order, and what is the bond length. And similarly we can also find whether the how much bond is present there, whether is it a single bond, double bond, or triple bond. I made a separate video for that and give the link in the description box of this video later. But in this question I just explained how will we find the whether the particular species is paramagnetic or diamagnetic. I will make one more video and will give you the description, the link of that video in the description box later. Okay. Uh, so now for the paramagnetic species, we have unpaired electrons present in them, and for the diamagnetic we have paired electrons. This is the most special thing. Now one thing I found in you students, that you are often little bit confused in placing electrons in the different orbitals. If someone knows it is okay, they just do their revisions. So the order of filling the electrons in the molecular orbital theory is sigma 1 is, then sigma 1 is 2, but this is for anti-bonding and this is for bonding. Okay. So we just go in this way. Now sigma 2s2, then sigma 2s2 sterics. The things which we have put here sterics, these are anti-bonding orbitals. These are anti-bonding orbitals. Clear? And which though they don't have the sterics, they are the bonding. Now after this step, you people done the mistakes. Just see. Firstly, you fill sigma p z 2. Okay. Afterwards, you fill pi p x equivalent to pi p y, but not 2 and 2. Firstly, fill one electron and one electron. Then after, fill another one and another one. In this way, you fill the electrons. If you do the mistake in this step, you will get answers wrong. After that, for anti-bonding these orbitals, you firstly fill px and py, not pz. Okay, and it is equivalent to sterics of the py. Then after that, fill sigma of the pz for the sterics. Okay, for 2 electrons. Okay, similarly here, firstly fill 1, then 1, then 1, and then 1. So this is the way, and often the mistakes are done in these 2 steps. Okay, now I am proceeding with our questions. In order to find the paramagnetic and diamagnetic behavior, we use the atomic numbers of the element. So first one is NO. So atomic number of NO, that is, it is of 7 plus 8. That means we have 15 here. Okay. Now I am going to start fill 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now just remove it. 11, 12, then 13, then 14, clear? Then 15. So here we have only 1 electron. So all these are not there in case of NO. So just see, every electrons here are paired, but in this we have 1 unpaired electron. So this shows the paramagnetic behavior. Okay, clear? Now comes to the CO. For CO, atomic number of carbon is 6 and it is 8. So we have 14. Clear? Now fill again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, then 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is not there in case of carbon monoxide. And we ultimately see that all of them are paired. So this is the diamagnetic. I hope you got the concept. Just take another one. I have O2. Okay. Now for the case of O2, okay, we have 8 plus 8, that means 2 times 8, that is we have 16. So we have to fill 16 electrons. Okay. Now proceed. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then sigma p z. Clear? So we have pi. Firstly we have to fill, not pz. Firstly we have to fill as we told, pi p x sterics, pi p y sterics, then sigma p z sterics. Okay. So we have to fill 16 electrons. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then 15, then 16. So they are not fulfilled. So we have unpaired, 2 unpaired electrons. Okay. So this is also the paramagnetic because there are unpaired electrons. So just note at a step. This, and after filling this and this, then we fill that one. Okay. And in these two, we fill one by one. Clear? Because they have the same energy level. Now comes to B2. The atomic number of B2 is what? 5. That means 5 into 2. That means we have to fill 10 electrons. Okay. So just leave it. So for the 10 electrons, we proceed in this way. 2, 4, 6, 8. Now 2 electrons left. So firstly we fill sigma p z, then sigma p x, sigma p y. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. So firstly it goes in x, then in y. So again we have two unpaired electrons. Because it is filled afterwards, firstly we fill this one. Okay. So this is also the paramagnetic. Clear? So in this case, which of the following is not the paramagnetic is the CO. Okay. Now I also want to explain one more question to you. It is not in the question included, but I want to explain you. For example, we have Cn minus, okay, and we have to find whether it is a paramagnetic or diamagnetic. So for C, we have 6, for nitrogen, we have 7, and this is plus 1. Clear? So we have 6, 7, 13, 1, 14 electrons. Clear? So now we fill 1s2 sigma asterisk 1s2, then sigma 2s2 sigma asterisk 2s2, 2, 4, 6, 8, then sigma, not sigma, pi px, pi py, then sigma pz. Clear? So 14, 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then 13, 14. So all are filled. So it is the diamagnetic. Okay. I will explain this one because if someone has the charge, then how will you find the bond order? Okay. So I also made a video in which I will explain you how this molecular orbital theory helps also in finding the bond length, etc. But I tell you later. Okay. If I have, for example, Cl plus 1, so we just add 1. So we have here 12. So for the 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it is also paired. So it is also a diamagnetic. Okay. For in case of positive, we subtract the charge, and in case of negative, we add the charge. In this way, we fill the molecular orbitals. Now I am taking this question. This is of the concept Nernst equation from electrochemical series chapter electrochemistry. So here it is given that the redox reaction is zinc plus copper 2 plus. In this way it is given, and the concentration of copper is here 0.1 molarity and the concentration of zinc is 1 molarity. If the cell constant standard electrode potential is 1.10 volt, so we have to find the electrode potential for the cell. So we just remember the Nernst equation. So Nernst equation is what? E of cell is equal to standard electrode potential minus 0.0591 over n over log, for example, Q. What is the log Q? Log Q is the ratio of the product over reactant. So firstly we find the value for the log Q. So we have for Zn 2 plus over copper 2 plus. Okay. So we have here 1 over 0.1, that is we have 10. Clear? So the value of log Q is 10 for this redox reaction, and value of this standard electrode potential is given. So after placing these values in our equation, we can easily find the electrode potential for the cell. Okay, so now just put all the values. 1.10 minus 0.0591, and what is n? N is the number of the electrons. So here 2 electrons are there, so we have log 10. So value of log 10 as we know is 1. So just solve it. 0, 2 ones are 2, 2 ones are 2, minus 0.0591 over 2. So just solve it and tell me the answer. The answer of this is 1.0705 volt. Okay, and this way we solve the electrode potentials. And there's one more question, sometime it is asked in the competitions, that standard electrode potential is given, and it is asked that which one is the most reducing agent and or which one is the most oxidizing agent. In this way the questions are like this. So for example, if there are some metals having